This is the Amp Hour Podcast, recorded July 29th, 2012. Episode 106, Temperative, Tegmen, Temperature.
Welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble of ChipReport.tv.
Hey, you've got something new.
Yeah.
More irons in the fire, huh?
Oh, yeah. I've decided I...
Didn't have enough to do, right?
I dislike sleeping, yeah.
Right. This marriage thing, don't.
Yeah. Well, she's been very, very nice about it. I keep kind of using the same excuse. It's losing some juice behind it, but someday it might be worth something. I might actually. She's still buying it, whatever reason. She's still buying it.
Well done. So, well, keep on milking that cash
cow.
Cow.
Well, you know.
Oh, love it. Yes. So, yeah, chipreport.tv.
Yeah, .tv. I broke your rule of the .com thing, but
whatever.
Sorry,
dude, it's not a new idea. I sort of had this idea when I first started the blog.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's okay. I don't care.
But hey, it's all out there, and you know who actually does the hard work and does it. That's what it's all about.
Execution.
Ideas are like assholes. That's what they say, right?
That's right. Yeah. So what it is,
everyone's
though,
got one.
That's the saying. Chip Report's a weekly. Think of it like Chip of the Week, except
it's video.
Not on the Amp Hour. It's video. There's like actually supplementary pictures and
there's
stuff
your
like that.
Ugly mug.
My ugly mug on video. Yeah. It's very different. I've had to do a lot of modifications to my lab area. It looks like
in terms of what lighting and backdrop and stuff like that.
Really cheap ass kind of studio setup.
Right.
Yeah.
Which
really
video camera are you using, by the way? That's my technical video blogger in me.
Oh, piece of junk. I don't know. It's not a piece of junk. It's DSC something. It's a Sony.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah, doesn't even matter.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
As long as it works. You can overcome anything with lighting.
That's right.
It doesn't matter how shit your camera is, right? You can, if you've got enough light, it's going to perform brilliantly. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
That's that for anyone else that's doing a video out there. They probably know that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty crazy.
But I've gone back to using my old. Oh shit! I'm getting into video blogging stuff.
Yeah.
Now. Anyway, I've gone back to using my old cameras, and then I realise how shit they are. Just in regular lab office lighting, like 200, 300 lux kind of range. They're just so crap.
Well, that happens, I'm sure, with a lot of gear. I mean, not just cameras, but you go. What was it like going back from the gigahertz or the super expensive scope back to little scope? I'm sure you missed a couple things there, right?
Yeah, it's painful.
Yeah, so I mean, it's the same kind of thing. Same thing with like soldering irons, especially, right? Soldering irons. So you go from a nice temperature controlled
station,
nice tip, and then you use like a little $25 special from Radio Shack. You're like,
exactly.
This is terrible. And so it's I know what you mean though. It's any kind of gear. Once you get acclimated, you gotta really work with the junkier stuff. But it's good to start with the junky stuff. I always say that. It's always good to understand where you're going with it.
Absolutely.
So, I think.
Well, there's so many people. Like I know bloggers out there that are using like professional $5,000, $10,000 studio cameras to shoot their video blog, and it's like, well. Geez, overkill. And they got the full pro lighting as well. It's like, well, you got all that pro lighting, and, well, you only need a $100 camera then. It's like, wow. It's just a video blog.
Yeah. But, hey, and it's like when you're starting out, too, with anything. I mean, like, soldering irons, scopes, anything like that, cameras. So I've been listening to the Adam Savage podcast now, so that's part of, they're on tested.com, whatever.
Oh, I didn't know he had a regular podcast.
Yeah, he's got a regular. I'll put it in the show notes.
I'm going to sign up for that one.
It's pretty good.
Okay.
And
it's like an hour-long show, like ours?
Half hour a week.
Well, I'm sure he's a busy guy.
Yeah. He talks about buy the junker tools at like Harbor Freight or something like that first, figure out if you need it, and then turn around, and if you do need it, buy the best your money can buy, and then never have to buy it again, which is great advice. I mean, because I've actually never been to Harbor Freight for tools or anything like that, but I've heard you can buy like like a $5 multimeter special kind of thing.
Yep.
And try it out. If you need it, go buy the best you can.
Yeah.
I always like that
it's
idea.
a similar thing to tradesmen I've had in, right, to do stuff around the house, right? They come in and I see them using these Ozito brand tools, which are like the El Cheapo one hung low brand of power tools, right? And I always ask them why, and they go, well, it basically does the job, and it costs 1/5 of the price of like a proper Panasonic or something like that, and it lasts like 80% as long, and if I ruin it, I just toss it out and buy another one, and it's like,
now that's an opposite argument though. I think that's an opposite.
I know,
that's
that's
like a get along. You get along good enough. I think that works sometimes.
It does work sometimes.
Like we've talked about on here. If you get a 3.5 digit DMM, you're going to get a lot of the case. You're going to get 80% of your cases, right? I mean,
yeah, exactly.
The times when you need a 6.5 or more is not
One
very
thing
high.
where it doesn't work is rechargeable tools. Like you buy the cheap rechargeable tools, and those batteries are just crap, and that's just going to ruin your day. You know, that's just awful. But yeah, all these, when you plug in your drill into the mains power cord or a jackhammer or something, you can just you can get away with the cheapies, even for these tradesmen. So. Yeah, go figure.
Yeah. So
how do we follow Chip Report TV? Do you want people to mainly subscribe on YouTube, or do you want to drive them to the website where you can monetize it?
I don't care about that. I'm just trying it out. It's so the website has the show notes. That's a lot of people like that. So you can just go listen to or just read the show notes if you want to. It's almost like the script
and
if you're not into video.
Links directly to the data sheet and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And then I'm going to post the audio too, so it'll be kind of like a podcast. And eventually I'll post the videos to be like a podcast as well. But for the subscription side, right now the easiest way is YouTube. Right. So I really don't have any like single source ways, because the thing I've learned from this show and from other shows I do is you're never going to cover how everybody wants to do it. You just kind of offer as many as is feasible at the beginning, and then wait for the complaints. So but yeah, the YouTube's nice. I like YouTube subscribing. So and of course,
so do I. It's good.
Hopefully, a lot of our listeners are already subscribed to you. So it would just be another one on there.
Sweet. I just hit 25,000 subscribers, I think.
Wow!
Holy cow!
Yeah, that's great, man.
I know. It's awesome.
Someday, maybe. Someday.
Yeah. Someday I'll be successful.
Okay.
I'm doing it full time, but I'm still, chicken feed in the scheme of, number of views and stuff like that, number of subscribers, number of views.
As Chris said last week, it's quality, not quantity. So I think we got some good listeners and you have good viewers and stuff. So
I agree.
That's all I care about. Another YouTube group that we like, and I think we've talked about on here before, is the Signal Path guys.
Yes.
And so Shahriar, I think it's how you say his name.
I don't know how to pronounce his name correctly, so I won't try.
Shahriar, maybe? Yeah, maybe Shahriar.
I did try. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Anyways, they've got a cool. He's got a cool video up. I was watching it this week, and I highly suggest people check it out. He's actually doing liquid nitrogen cooling of passive components. So he's got an LED, and then he basically dunks it, and then the result is really cool. He actually shifts the band gap, so the color of the LED changes.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Which is probably not surprising. That's exactly what it's supposed to do.
Is it? That's the thing. Like, it's been a while for me since, band gap days and all that stuff.
I don't remember any of that shit either, but it just doesn't, strike. Like, I didn't see it and go, wow, it does. I just went, oh, yeah, well, that doesn't surprise me,
Really?
Yeah,
man.
Is
your boyhood
things
wonder
change
gone?
drastically
What's the matter,
with temperature.
man?
Everything in electronics changes with temperature. I mean, it doesn't.
I totally agree with that. I've run into that problem before. Oy, yeah. What kind of ranges do you? So when you're designing like USB power supplies and stuff, do you give a toss, as you say it? I mean, about temp range, or do you just kind of say 0 to 70 parts and?
Well, you don't give a toss about under 0, for example. I mean, who's going to use the freaking thing outside in Antarctica, right? I mean, it's
you
just...
are right in now.
Right, yeah, bitch now.
Right.
No, I'm happy to give those people their money back,
Right.
If you don't like it because you're in Antarctica.
And your condolences for being so cold there, right?
Oh, boy. I don't care too much about it. Really, unless there's some formal reason that I need to do it, which I have often done for work,
Yeah, definitely.
But, my own personal projects, because I know they're going to be mostly used in the lab, mostly over, say, from, they won't even get down to 0, they'll go from, 5, 10 degrees minimum. Basically, if you're sitting there in your lab, freezing your ass off at 5 to 10 degrees, then, I mean, it's pretty. It's not a very pleasant place to work. So,
right.
Very.
You're not designing
condition.
like stuff you could go put at a substation somewhere or something like that, right? You're making development equipment in a best case scenario, right?
That's right. And then at the high end, of course, it's different because you're not going to work in over 40 degrees personally, right? Once ambient, we're talking about, but. In terms of the high-end stuff, components heat up, especially power components. So the high end is much more important than the low end.
Right. And so you gotta have to calculate whatever the temperature rise is going to be, and that's always based on your packaging in that case, right?
Yep. So
really?
that's much more important than the low end. I basically don't care about the low end. It's not that important.
Right.
So
and and you think about the low end too, right? In reality, if you had a nominal 30 degree rise in your case, then you could technically go down to minus 30, and then it would rise up to... you couldn't guarantee it, right? But I always think about that, and that's why the low end is even less of a problem, because, if you just spec some kind of on time, say, you have to warm it up for an hour or something like that, then, well, that problem's gone, so...
And then if your item's powered from batteries, then you've got another whole world of hurt, right? Because batteries are very poor performers down at low temperatures, so... Well... if somebody's using their alkaline battery at 0 degrees and wondering why the bloody thing isn't working, then, well, there's your problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So, there's a limit. There's a line you got to draw there, where you just don't care that much. It's not worth the extra design effort because, especially if it's mainly a bit of lab gear or it's, something like that. So...
Right.
Well, I know it's not super professional to think like that, but at some point,
it's practical,
you've just
right?
gotta... it's practical,
especially for stuff that you're designing. If it's if you're selling it to other hobbyists and stuff like that, then it's at that point it's definitely not there. Yeah, because I've done the design stuff too, and it's like you do have to worry about that at some point, but. Really, what it ends up coming down to is you spec it so that it, it's. So it's usable, right?
Exactly.
So you do like derating in the spec sheet, or so you do like accuracy derating in the spec sheet. So then you kind of do your error budgets and stuff like that, and all that mess. And
as far as electronic components goes, you don't have to worry about the low end. It's more the high end you got to worry about. So
the times I think about like the people who really have to care about this stuff is like Tom Laments, who we've had on the show, right? He was the automotive.
Exactly.
Like automotive electronics, your stuff is sitting outside, and it's crappy, right? It's just. I think I talked to someone about automotive and like battery cold starts and stuff like that. And like 12-volt batteries, they said those things will get down to like 4 volts, and they'll have to try and jump a car, or like try and crank a turn. Oh, I'm getting into trouble already. Try and turn over the engine basically with this battery, but it's usually 12 and now it's at 4. And it's like that's not gonna.
That can ruin your day.
Yeah, that'll ruin your day. Exactly. That's a call to AAA or your insurance company or something, right? if you can't handle it. So that's
Oh boy, the Olympics is on at the moment, dude.
It is.
Have you been watching it? Did you watch the opening ceremony?
I did not watch the opening ceremony. I was watching water polo today, though. And I think the Olympics is like the ultimate time for nerds to be like, I I should go outside and run, or
Right.
you have these perfect physical specimens, and
sit inside on the forum. Somebody started a thread. How do the timing systems at the Olympics work? Like that's what
that's
nerds
true. I guess,
do, right? They get
I guess
together
there
to
are a
figure
lot
out
of interesting questions.
Yeah, exactly. Oh boy, and it's
that
great.
Stuff is,
I love it.
And there's a lot of technology like that. I was actually talking to someone about quadcopters the other day. About we started talking about like football, like American football, and like how they have the wire cameras. And, and how we wondered if the quads will ever actually become like film equipment for Olympics or even just any kind of sporting event. And I don't think right now, but I'm sure in the future it could be, right? I mean, you can get some
but they're very
cool
dangerous.
shots.
You can't fly them over people. There's real major concerns there. Like it's just
they're professionals.
Yeah, right.
Just make them light.
More reason not to
fine.
do it.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot. There is interesting tech, and I think a lot of the Olympic stuff and the timing and making that accurate and repeatable is interesting. But I think a lot of the camera stuff is really cool too. Because
for sure.
You see a lot of, a lot of innovation that's needed in order to
see at the stadium,
even just
the open
underwater.
ceremony, every seat had a LED panel, had a multicolored LED panel, so the whole stadium was one big dot matrix screen.
No, I didn't see that. Oh,
well, there
I'll
you go.
have to find that video.
There you go. And it was a bit wanky. I'm sitting, and they're showing close-ups of people, and there's this big LED panel sitting next to them, so on their seat, like an armrest, like a pop-up, like a screen on the plane, it pops up from the seat, and,
Was it just it didn't look very elegant, or what?
It didn't look very elegant when you were actually showing shots of people, they're sitting next to this big LED panel.
Right. Well, it's not meant for them.
But it looked good from a distance, the big helicopter shot showing the whole stadium, and there is the big dot matrix screen. Okay, cool. And no, I enjoyed the opening ceremony. I thought it was good.
Cool. Well, yeah, I just kind of missed it. So cool technology problems, though.
Mr. Bean on there. They had Mr. Bean. He's my favourite. Love him.
Really?
Did you know? Bit of trivia.
I did.
Mr. Bean is an electrical engineer.
Was an electrical engineer. I think it's pretty safe to say he's out of electrical engineer territory. Rowan Atkinson he started as an electrical engineer, and then he started getting into comedy, and then.
Well, I'm not sure he ever actually worked as an electrical engineer, but he did actually. He did do the course, so he did. That was his. That was his thing. Apparently, he did a degree in EE and then went to, I think, move straight into theatre or something. But technically. EE.
Well, hey man, you got to.
We can claim him.
There's your mass audience. Once you get past the 26,000 mark on YouTube,
right?
You could just switch over to comedy.
Yeah, I'm going to get into physical comedy.
Yeah. Oh, right. He's pretty funny too.
It's freaking awesome.
Yeah. So speaking of education, you mentioned Rowan at the university level. Did you see this Analog Devices and Digilent announcement?
No.
No. Oh, okay. So Analog Devices and Digilent, who's a educational kit maker, basically, they're offering a $200 kit, and it can act as a makeshift DMM and oscilloscope, right? And you're like, okay. Well, it acts as a oscilloscope.
It's a USB connect. Oh, yes, I have seen this. It's a
you
USB.
Did see this. Okay.
It's called the Analog Discovery.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you don't think it's much, but then, because it runs off your screen, it's PC-based, it's actually Windows-based, but it's got a 125 megasample converter, right? It's got a
14-bit.
Yeah, 14-bit, yeah. But how much is your scope? I mean, most scopes are 8-bit these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
they can go up to 10 or 12 with the high res mode with oversampling, and then they average the samples in between, so they can, you can get an effective 12-bit res from an 8-bit converter.
Yeah. See, this isn't it's not bad. It's a mega ohm input. I mean,
it goes down to 250 microvolts per division.
Yeah. So it's not bad. I mean, they're gaining it up obviously, so you're going to lose some of those bits, but
yep.
But who cares, right? I mean, so I think it's pretty great. I mean, this whole thing is.
It's all right. I'm not that excited. I'm sorry.
Well, I think you should get. This sounds like this is ripe for review, man. I think. I don't know. I was very impressed by this.
Somebody asked that. Somebody asked, "Can I review it?" It's like, well, okay. If they send me one, I'm certainly not going to buy it.
Of course. But 16 logic analyzer and pattern generator and everything else, I think it's pretty cool. I mean, it's good. They're obviously targeting it for education, right? They actually have a discount for education.
Yeah, right.
But,
yep.
But it's $200, man. It's not bad. It's not going to be like a scope,
but there's
right?
so
This isn't going to be a
many
scope
of them
replacement.
on the market. I mean, that's what, it makes me yawn. There's so many things like this. There's nothing new here at all. It's nothing new whatsoever.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, it's fairly highly spec'd, I guess, in terms of things, but once again, nothing new. I mean, it's... No,
You got
sure,
excited.
Sure, if you
I
look
remember
around,
you got
can buy
excited when you
tons of
had...
these things.
You got all excited when you got that dual channel, like 500 microvolts per division scope. I don't know why you wouldn't be excited about this. That's what I'm saying.
I'm quite excited by the 250 microvolts per division, but that's the only thing I see majorly exciting here. Sorry, maybe it's all about the software. Maybe the software is really good.
Well, in this case, yeah, it is.
Right?
Yeah, it is.
And is it
I don't
open
think
source,
it will be, but
or is it all
it is not open
proprietary?
source, and that was another thing. I was hoping they would open it up for open up the API for Linux, but
Yeah, no, that's a crock
apparently
of shit. No, thumbs down then. No.
yeah, Windows only.
No.
That is a big downside. And actually, we John Shook from your forum and a couple other places online. He actually asked on their Facebook page if they plan to open it, and they said no. So that was on Digilent's
Well, then
page.
why are we promoting this shit then?
I don't know. I still think it's interesting. If you can get it for $99 as a student.
No, go away. Anyway, somebody can write a driver for this. So, but then they haven't open sourced the hardware, so they'll bloody sue you if you go off and make your own.
I think this is basically a dev kit. I mean, they're trying to they want you to build your own. They want you to at least design in the part. So
Yeah, right.
they're selling parts as much as anything else here, I think.
Oh, of course.
But I thought it was newsworthy. I liked it.
And you probably can't make your own for the same price because those analog devices parts aren't cheap, I'm sure. They're kind of like the Rolls-Royce parts
They
in
are
the industry.
number one converter company in the industry, I think. So
analog devices do not make cheap parts. They make really good ones.
Yeah.
At a really good price.
Really good, quote unquote. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Anyway, I'm not talking about that anymore. No.
All right.
Next.
Fine. Okay, here we go. So this would be so one other thing I was excited about that thing for was the argument of headless test equipment, which we talked about on here, right? And
as in displayless, headless.
Displayless, right? Displayless and or using
using
an off-the-shelf tablet. And
this was another one of your big calls, just like the chip maker machine that we'd all be using our tablet to use every widget under the sun.
Someday I will be vindicated as a technologist. You will see. Ray Kurzweil ain't got shit on me. That guy's crazy. Anyway, the Antipasto hardware blog. Those are the guys that they did the liquidware kit that was built on top of the Beagle board and everything else like that. They actually have a post about that and doing quite the opposite of what I suggest. Because I was saying, oh yeah, well you should just use an off-the-shelf tablet, right? And they actually have a post about using customizing your own Android tablet and not doing that. And I'm sure that there's a little bit of something in there because they sell these things, but on the other side of things, there are some valid reasons in here. So
which I tried to point out to you last time.
Yeah, but they actually do it in, an eloquent and concise manner, right? Not just
I
no,
don't
you're
do
wrong.
eloquent.
Yeah, but I mean, they do make some good points, and I think you might have made some similar points. I might concede that, maybe.
Please. Anyway, we've got to follow. All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
We've got a. It follows on from the Digilent thing, right? Not opening stuff up. Bloody hell!
Okay.
This pisses me off a bit. I tell you, Heathkit Schematics.
Oh yeah, I saw you post this.
Yeah. Somebody pointed it out on the forum. Sorry, I don't remember who it was, but Heathkit haven't been around for 30 years or something, right? Since before you were born, Chris. Right?
They've been gone that long?
Hell yeah. Anyway, right? They make all these old gear, right? And
Yeah, they used to make kits and
kits
everything like
and all
that.
sorts of stuff, right? So there's lots of enthusiasts out there who want to maintain this gear, and and,
Right.
and
you could
build
build
upon them.
scopes, you could build
Yeah,
TVs,
exactly.
you could build stereos, a lot of stuff actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you used to be able to get all this info online, right, for all these old kits. Great. And then some dickhead, hang on, I've got his name here. Gonna name him. Hang
Name
on.
and shame. Yep.
Hang on. Don Peterson. Don Peterson. There you go. From Data Professionals. He's got his own little company, right? He's from California. And he apparently is a former Heathkit employee, right? Which is great. But what he's gone and done is basically his company has bought all the copyrights to all the Heathkit documentation. And now he's actively going around getting all the content pulled off the internet, apparently, and so that he can sell it himself, so that he can control the whole market and for Heathkit documentation and sell it. And it's like, I'm sorry, there's a line in this industry that you shouldn't cross, and he's crossed it, quite frankly, and it pisses me off. It's just, no, you just do not do it.
We should give the background to that too, because basically they tried to bring Heathkit back. There was a recent resurgence in it, and
That's
they tried
right,
to sell
there
some
was,
kits
yeah.
again.
I'm not sure if it was affiliated with the same...
I don't think it was the same owners, but it was definitely. I mean, it was the same. I mean, it was the brand name and everything else like that.
Yep.
They were trying to bring it back, and they had a good name to go on. But then about a month and a half ago, I think they said, "Oh no, this is done. They're toast, right?"
Yep.
And then even just like last week or the week before, there was actually an auction site. You can go online. You could buy like all the old office gear from the Heathkit offices up in Michigan, and it was very apparent that they are not coming back. There is no chance. And at this point, I think it was like a couple guys in a warehouse were trying to keep the dream alive, but it's over, which is sad. I mean, it is, because it is a great name, and now this guy bought all of it.
He bought the documentation, yeah.
It almost sounds like patent trolling, It almost I mean, it's not patent trolling, but that's the feeling it is.
Yep.
Yeah. So like if I own it and I posted it to my site, then does he actually have a case against it? I don't understand.
If you own what?
If I own like a PDF copy if I own a Heathkit device and I put the schematic online.
No, he owns the copyright to it. End of story. You have not been reassigned. You have not been assigned the copyright or a use of that copyright, so you can't put it online. You can keep it for your own personal use, but you can't share it. No, and he's clamping down on it. Apparently, I don't know all the details, but yeah. What a loser!
That is lame.
Yep, that is very lame indeed.
Lame.
See, if he bought all the copyrights and then released them all to the world, he'd be a hero, right? Get standing ovation everywhere he goes. But no,
for a little
now
while.
he's the personification of evil in this industry.
That far,
for somebody who does that.
It's pretty lame. It's pretty lame.
Yeah, not happy at all. Yep, spoiling everyone's fun. Not good.
Yeah.
Just for a little, because his eyes lit up. Oh, I can see the profit now. Everyone needs all these Heathkit schematics, this huge hobbyist industry out there. Oh, I'll sell it to them. I'll buy the rights.
You gotta source all your own parts now too, and I mean half of those parts.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking at original schematic, it's gonna call out like Dallas Semiconductor. Not even that, semiconductors, right? What the hell are those? It's gonna it'll call out like. I don't know, nylon
old,
caps and stuff like
1N48
stuff that's
germanium
really hard to
diodes
find.
or something.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really hard stuff to find, and because it's old. And but on the other hand, if you abstract it out and you say, all right, resistor, here's the value, like that.
Yeah.
Okay, then that has value, right? And using it as a study guide and as a basis for your new models. But to be honest, you could do that now. You could, if you did get a hold of them in some manner, right? Yeah. Maybe not a public way. You could make derivative type works, and no one has to know. But because
I'm sure
he owns the copyright.
Right, yeah, and I'm sure he's going to claim, I did it to protect the material, to make sure it survived. Well, you could have just done nothing, and then the company would have failed, and then everyone would have just released the info, and it would have been free and wild and survived for all time, And
Yep. Yeah, that's too bad.
Dickhead.
Yeah. Speaking of schematics, Digikey. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, they've jumped on the bandwagon. Yeah, they've jumped on I haven't tried it. I don't want to try it.
Well, we should say what it is, though.
Yeah, go on.
Digikey's trying to pull in schematics. So this kind of looks like Circuit B, and even though it's a what's that other one? There's that online Spice program, right? There's a lot of ways you can share schematics now, right?
Yeah.
Aside from just even sending someone else a PDF. But this new Digikey one is supposed to be like you can put a schematic in and you can share it with all your buddies, and then surprisingly you can also buy stuff, which is the real reason they're doing it.
But then what do you do once you put the schematic in there? How do you make your board? Electronics is a physical art. I mean, it's not, the art is not necessarily in just designing the schematic. You got to go that extra 10% and actually design your board.
Yeah.
So what do? You just have to redraw the thing in another package to get
right, and that's what it comes down to. Is ultimately this seems like a good idea, but what they should have done is worked with a company that actually makes layout software, or
exactly. I know,
like database software, right? And this is trying to do it all yourself, and that's good, and I understand why they would do that, because then they get to maintain control. But I still say, like once. Even if you did like an open source run, I mean, if you worked with like KiCad or Jita, right?
Exactly.
These would all be great ways to do it. You write your software in order to work with very readily available information like KiCad or Jita, or even Eagle, right? Eagle's good too. I mean, or what's the one you like, DipTrace? All of these could work.
A whole bunch.
Yeah, and I would think that would be a little more productive, but I guess there is a little more work in maintaining that. But
I want to know where they got it from. It didn't just magically, they didn't, they must have bought it from someone, right? Or I don't think they've had some boffin in there sitting there writing it. Have they? Or have they, teamed up with somebody and they're rebadging it?
It could be. This is pretty slick looking if you, click on it.
Yeah. It's okay for like quick and dirty stuff, maybe, but for a serious design, nobody's going to use it.
Yeah. Well,
because any serious design, you have to take it to a PCB.
Yeah. Well, there is an export.
Ridiculous.
There's an export link.
Export in what format?
I don't know. I haven't gotten that far yet.
You'd need that integration. You need fail.
Oh no, they export as PNG and PDF. So Digikey, if you are listening, if you export into I don't know, what are all the KiCad? They've got some weird formats, right? Export to KiCad.
Eagle now uses the open source XML format. Right. So now
XML,
there's a bit of an industry trend towards trying to use this XML format for schematic, export and stuff.
And also import, then. That's another important thing. So I want to be able to export it, use it, actually like do some useful work, do a layout, and then push it back. Or even better, if you want to use these brilliant software developers to write stuff for open source programs, we would appreciate it. That would be all. And that is a competitive advantage.
Do they have every part linked in?
Oh, I doubt that. I mean, I don't know. I'm guessing they talk to their database, so.
You're right. No, I think they failed here. They chose the wrong path. They had a golden opportunity to tee up with one of the major players in either the open source or the low end. Because no professional is going to use this, right? Let's put it that way. Let's be frank, right?
No,
it's just not going to happen.
If you're going to share a schematic, if you want to share an easy way to share a schematic, and you also need to buy it, or even if you want to just store all your stuff from Digikey there, right?
Yeah.
Was that Chris we were talking to last week about that? Just storing it and being able to hit go and just buy everything at once?
That was me.
That was you that said that.
My bomb.
Okay.
Yeah, I have my bomb in Digikey, so
that's
I
a good way to do
go
it.
And
right. And if you have these assemblies, then you're going to do it. Maybe then just to if you needed to visualize, U15 is obsolete, or I need a different version of that now. So now if you wanted to visualize it, but you probably have that internalized already, right? I mean,
that's right.
If you're working on a schematic, you know that schematic because you have to, right? You understand all the parts, and you can't just get away with having this really light knowledge of your own board. It's your board. It's your baby, right? I mean, it's you just have to know it well, and so
Right. So the end of the story is no pro is going to use it. So they're only shooting for the low end here, and they haven't teamed up with another low end player. It's just they got it wrong.
Well, it's nice.
What were
it's
they
a good
doing
start.
in their committee when they were sitting around thinking this thing up, brainstorming this thing?
Hey,
Didn't they
it's
have
okay.
anyone in there
They
who
can
had a
start.
clue?
Hey, well, you think about the skill sets, right? I mean, that's the problem a lot of times, right? If you have a team that's writing even just a CAD program, if you have a team that's writing a CAD program, they're likely mostly software engineers, right?
Yeah.
Or if you have a team of electronics designers who are designing something for the oil industry, right? You're not on a rig. You don't know what's going to work and doesn't work. That's why there's application groups. But I always think if you can, if you are an electronics designer, you need to go out to the rig, right? Or if you are a software person,
Exactly.
you need to go use that CAD software. But especially at big companies, that's hard to do because you're like crossing these silos of, oh, well, you're an electronics designer. Why do you need to go to a rig? Well, because I need to know what it's used for. I need some context, dumbass, that's a lot of like, you read about like project management stuff, like Jack Gansel does this brilliant project management course, and that's a lot of what he talks about too, that's even just any kind of lean product development and all that crap, and agile and everything else. It's all about getting quick feedback and also experiencing it yourself. That stuff, like, context matters. That's the basics. You need to have a clue, and
Digikey don't.
Well, it's maybe not here, but we are welcome. We are, we're speaking our mind now, so there's some feedback. Hopefully they're, maybe they're listening, maybe, and if not, we can.
we can make them.
We'll mail it to
tie
someone.
them down and we'll make them listen.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I hate it when they pass up a golden opportunity to, any company passes up a obvious golden opportunity to do something right.
Well, sometimes it's about getting it
off.
out there, right? I mean, we've talked about it, like even with my chip report stuff, right? It's not everything I wanted to do. It's crap right now, but it's going to get better. I got people telling me what to do already. It's like, cool, all right, there's some feedback. I know what people want more, right? And you've talked about that before too, right? You say,
of course,
just
but this
get it out
isn't trivial to do, right? It's not like you can churn out a thing like this in a day and get it out
this isn't,
there.
this isn't
right?
the text editor or something, right?
And,
GUI based and
no, I'm sorry, from day one, they should have gone to somebody and teed up with some PCB CAD software.
They should have teed up with two brilliant podcast hosts that, claim to know what they're talking about.
Quite a substantial fee. Could have told them.
See, now that's the thing, though. If you do that, then you're never going to get to put some input in. But if if you're legitimate, want to. I'd like a tool like this. I do. We've talked about it on here before. We would love a tool like this.
I've already got half of my parts on the Digikey bomb system, right? So if it tied in, hey, this could have worked. This is a tool I could have used and promoted, but no.
Oh, and not even that. I mean, you think about the convenience of it, right? And we should say,
yeah, that's
just
right.
Digikey. If it's not just Digikey listening, Mauser, Avnet,
as
Arrow,
well.
anybody else, right? If you have this stuff and you don't say, it's really a leap of faith too, because it's not like, oh, well, we have that on our site. It's like, well, you got to actually branch out and be willing to work with other people, right? I know that some of the other people have that. Oh, well, we have a bomb tool. It's a Excel. Upload your Excel bomb sheet, and we'll assign parts to that. And it's like, okay, cool. I can do that too.
Yep.
But it's that third party stuff when it really starts to get valuable. So whoever does it first, though, you have a competitive advantage, and I would say that you could even chart. I don't want to say this, but I think that you could even, for that one clickability, for that Amazon effect, that buy it now thing. You could probably sneak a margin, a percent or two of margin in there, right?
I wouldn't complain about paying a few bucks to use their bomb feature.
Yeah, like a fixed $5 cost or something.
Yeah. Something every time I use it adds $5 to every order. I don't think you get any complaints. Although it'd have to be better than what it currently is. The bomb system's a bit quirky at the moment. Its user interface is not that great, but still, the convenience of it is really good.
Yeah, it's there.
And,
so
I know.
Back to the drawing board, guys.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And since I don't work on huge professional designs anymore, my needs in the PCB CAD area are fairly simple these days, and yet it can't even do the simple stuff I want.
Yeah.
So so who's it for? If it can't even do bare basic minimum stuff, it's a fail all around.
Yeah.
Next.
What about, so say you're buying a chip, right? Say you're on Digikey or any other site, right?
Right.
And you're even you're in your CAD tool and you're designing it in. Do you ever stop and say, I wonder if this company's going to go bankrupt soon? Do you ever say that?
As in the company, who? The part manufacturer?
Yeah, the chip vendor. Yeah, the manufacturer.
Not really, because they're major ones I've been using for 20 years. I mean...
Right. Say like a major one you've been using for 20 years is about to run out of cash by next year.
Oh, well, they usually don't. They always get bought out. But we've talked about this before. These companies just do not fail, right? Somebody buys them out, the parts continue.
Yeah. But it's a hassle, right? I mean, so basically ST Micro is running out of cash at the end of the year. And you're right. They're talking about it, like the French government's ready to step in and yada, yada, yada. Because you think about all the jobs at the fabs and everything else. But at the same time... that really kind of sucks. It could, I'm sure this
they
gives
could rationalize in quote marks their inventory. Their their line of products. They could rationalize their line. That kind of sucks. That's happened on the odd occasion. They've rationalized, some.
What do you mean? Can you explain rationalize more? What do you mean?
They rationalize their product line. It means they dump products that aren't selling well. And that happens to be, of course, Murphy's Law says that's the one that you're using in your product, but nobody else is using it. Oops. So they dump it and you're left holding the bag,
Yeah.
So
that sucks.
Yep.
But it's even like a branding change, right?
Rationalization of your product line. That's the marketing. That's the business wank word.
Okay. Well, the other side of it, too, is like, you could have, like they're talking about this article about selling off that part of the business, just like the micro arm, because these are huge conglomerates, right? You think about the biggest players out there, TIST, all these guys, Intel, like, if they spin off, even if they spin off and change the name, right? Like Freescale. Freescale is a spin off of Motorola.
Yeah, that's right. Motorola.
You talk about BOM changes. I mean, like, you got to change everything then, right? You got to go through all your BOMs and all your old stuff. You need to make sure all the part numbers change and stuff like that. So it's not a trivial venture when someone changes their name, or even like part markings, right? I mean, that I'm sure you've had that before, where you're looking at a chip and you're like, "What the hell is that symbol?"
Yeah, exactly.
It can be a hassle, especially for people reviewing electronic circuit boards on YouTube. You might have some problems.
That's right. Yeah,
at least you get to look it up. I saw at one point there was actually like a library of pictures of logos and stuff like that.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I'm going to have to find that and put it in the show notes.
I just couldn't be bothered. If I'm going over a board in a review, I go, I don't know what that part is. I just, I'm not going to stop the camera and go bloody look up the internet and try and find a,
Right. Yeah, and sometimes they obfuscate too, right? I mean, I saw on Mike's Electric stuff, he posted about, he had some old military board where every chip got rebadged. So he didn't know what any of the guts were, but, they were all badged by the defense company, and but yeah, like that can be a hassle if you're going from a Motorola to a Freescale name, right? Or even if you're already at a Freescale name, then you have to go and find old parts in your system at work, right? That can be a hassle too.
Absolutely.
And, because databases are not they're not intelligent beings, which is why they're not going to rise up and kill us yet, which is a good thing. But
oh boy.
But then you have to remember, you have to internalize that, oh, well, it's not Freescale back then, it was Motorola, so I should search under Motorola.
Right.
So no considerations, though, for the financial fortitude of a company when you're designing in parts?
Not really. I like I'm not going to go out and use a chip from a startup unless I absolutely have to. Like, there's some massively compelling reason to do it. Just because, the odds of them failing are quite large, and that part not being there in 5 years' time is very, the odds of that is very large.
That's a tough part for the chip company. I mean, we talked to
of course.
about
That's
that, right?
their dilemma, you know.
Yeah.
That's it. But some developers don't care, right? You're doing a run, and you're designing something that has a 12-month product life frame or something. Well, you don't care if they're going to be there in 5 years' time. Sometimes, right?
That's true.
It depends on what you're designing, what market you're in.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Well, how about this chip company? Have you ever heard of the ARM chip company?
Don't know. Who are they?
Well, no,
What
but
do they
seriously,
make?
like
Stupid name.
I know, yeah. But so ARM, it's like the IP vendor, right? They're actually developing the FinFET with TSMC, which means that they're. I don't know. I don't know if that means they're just not going to be. I mean, they're going to still be an IP developer, but
A FinFET? Is it a FET?
FinFET based chip, basically. So they're working
Right.
on they're working with TSMC, who says,
I haven't heard of FinFET before.
Oh, it's the shape of the MOSFET, basically. So it's when you're going from,
It's got fins on it, does it?
32 nanometers, down to 20 nanometers.
Right.
Basically, the gate widths keep shrinking. And in order to get more surface area on a gate, what you do is you start using weird-ass geometries to get more
Right,
surface area
okay.
in a smaller, XY distance. You actually
It's kind of
you
like the
start using
winged
Z.
keel, is it? Or are you too young to remember that? Where we
winged
whipped your
keel?
ass in the America's Cup back in the 80s.
Oh, yeah, because everybody in the U.S. is like, oh, America's Cup. Is that sailing? I don't even know.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, I'm a little young for that, Dave. Also, my
Right,
my
yeah,
sailing
yeah.
knowledge is not quite up to date.
Right.
I know.
Right.
No, but it's not that. It's kind of like, and there's lots of features like this too. DRAM did the same thing to get the gate lengths longer. Basically,
Sure.
you're just trying to make the gate length longer in order to get the same transistor properties without actually making the physical overall distance longer or larger. Right?
Exactly.
That's the
Yep.
basic idea.
It's kind of like a fractal antenna, almost. You get the performance
Yeah.
of the antenna in this tiny space.
Yes,
you know?
exactly. You're trying to
Yep.
optimize for space. That's the
Yep.
basic idea. And so ARM is actually working with TSMC, and I don't think that means. I'm not sure. It feels like that they would be making their own chips, but I guess it just means that they have to try and go back and forth with the biggest fab in the world to try and design this IP. But I always figured that happened at like the vendor level. So then like TI would buy ARM's IP and then say, oh, well, we're going to work with TSMC or Maxim or whoever else is
As
buying
engineers,
ARM
do we
cores.
care about this? All we care about is the end parts, right?
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
Can we get them? How much do they cost? What do they perform?
What I'm
like?
wondering is if ARM is going to actually make a chip, though. That's my question, right? So Steve
Oh,
posted
right.
this
Oh,
on
okay.
the EDA
Right.
360 Insider, but that's my extension of this is if ARM's working with TSMC and they announced a multi-year deal to develop a 64-bit ARM V8 processor, basically, does that mean, though, that they're becoming
They become
gonna,
a hardware company.
I mean, ARM's doing it all now. I mean, they're not doing it all, right? I mean, other companies wrap peripherals around
that's
ARM.
the thing. A lot of people don't understand. You cannot go out and buy an ARM processor from the ARM company.
Yet.
They don't make
That's what
chips.
I'm asking.
Yeah, they don't make them.
Right.
They just sell their core.
Right.
That's it. And other chip vendors provide. That's why you can buy 20 different brands of ARM processor.
Right.
Because it's just
But
the
what
ARM
I'm saying
core.
is right now, I mean, they just license it, but I'm saying that there's really nothing stopping them. I mean, they could
No,
hire
it's not.
a couple
They can do
peripheral people and
Of course they can.
develop IP
and they don't
or
have to
buy
pay
it.
themselves a royalty. They've got a competitive advantage. But then that might piss off all their suppliers, all their customers, right? Because they're the ones paying the royalty for the IP. And if ARM try and undercut their market and bring out their own core, their own physical chip, then they've obviously got a competitive price advantage there.
It's true, yeah.
And
that's true.
that would piss them off. And that's why they've been successful, because they don't compete in that area, I think. That's why they're successful.
Well, it's just an interesting case of frenemies in the chip industry, right? I mean, chip industry is way bigger than us or anyone, right? I mean, like, this is some big stuff because this is
Right.
billions of dollars and, lots of smart people. And, but I was just curious because it would shake stuff up if that ever did happen. Maybe I'm just reading it wrong.
I think if they're going to bring out their own chip, I think it's the wrong move. think it's just going to piss everyone off. Not good. Going in the wrong direction. Hey, guess what Tektronix are doing these days?
What's that?
Tektronix now have a place where you can upload your own reviews of Tektronix products.
I don't know anyone who's ever reviewed a Tektronix product.
There you go. They've got a website. You can go to the website and you can it's tech.com/ratings-and-reviews. Great URL there, folks. Yeah. How about you just do tech.com/reviews or something? That would have been much better. Anyway, apparently you can upload and tips on writing your review. This is what I like. Keep your review focused on your personal experience with the product. Describe the problem and the product is describe the problem that the product is helping you solve and how well it solves it. I.e., we want marketing material.
Oh. See, they're calling right now, Dave, and they're saying, "Why are you talking about us?" Yeah,
yep.
They've already heard that's freaky. Maybe they bugged your the scope you do have.
Should I answer it?
No.
So of course they had to put in, yes, we want you, we appreciate your honesty and all that sort of shit, but no, they don't. Trust me. Right. If you really slag off the product, they're not going to approve it. Right. If you just rant and rave about how shit it is and how crap that they haven't bought out and laid a scope, right, they're not going to approve that. Right?
Well, no.
I'm sure. I'd be surprised.
I think it's more of a text. It's more of a text review thing, though, too. So that's good.
They encourage you to do video. They encourage you to do photos and video.
Yeah, photos and video, but photos would be a text thing, really.
Oh, it would be. It'd be a text blog. Yeah. But no, they're after freaking marketing material, which is okay. I guess, you can't blame them for trying, right?
Right. And, they get it from you for free, right?
There you go. Get on there, folks. Upload a video just ranting and see if it gets approved. Ranting about how they haven't, kept up with the market and all that sort of stuff. So how their scopes are old and slow. See if it gets approved, please. It'd be hilarious. Boy. I'm certainly not going to do it because I don't give content to other people. Screw that.
Right. I didn't expect you to.
That doesn't help me. That just helps them.
Right.
So, yeah. Not going to happen.
What else we got on here? Ooh, this is actually kind of speaking of content. Dwayne Benson, who does work for Screaming Circuits. You've probably seen him. He is on Twitter and he's a couple other places. But he actually has been doing this really cool feature on Programmable Planet. He's like a marketing guy for a board company, which is out in the open. But he's learning about FPGAs and he's kind of just learning from scratch. And he's got these pretty cool articles about just kind of like the first pass of learning FPGAs, which is a lot of people don't. I mean, if I hadn't been gone to school specifically for and taking classes on programmable stuff, it's harder. I think it's a harder thing to get into than microcontrollers.
It's a very big hurdle. FPGAs is a big hurdle.
Yeah.
It's a different paradigm to what you're used to.
Definitely.
Everyone's every electronics engineer knows how to program in C, right? It just and use microcontrollers. It's natural to them,
right?
But
right.
And then when you got to do this HDL stuff, it's a different ball game.
It definitely is, and then branching out from we talked to Chris about this last week too. It's learning the parallel side of things, and he I think he was not as impressed with the FPGA side of things because of the level of technology that's in the newer chips. But one of the things that is nice about it is the parallel nature of it, right? It's not necessarily for processing side of things, but if you need some parallel logic, you can't beat that stuff. You need to do like filters and stuff like that. A lot of digital signal processing is moving on to FPGAs these days, and man, you can do some cool stuff on there.
You can indeed.
Yeah. So yeah, he's got some cool articles though. Especially like more of the practical side of it too, like the bringing up an IDE, actually creating bit files, and just the format side of things. And
awesome.
And that stuff is it's good. And like we said before,
I love people producing content. 5-10 years ago, nobody was producing content. It was so hard to get this sort of info. Now it's everyone's out
now
there
there's so much
producing
it's hard
content.
to get time to
it's hard
do it.
You haven't got time to haven't got time to view it all.
Right.
There's so much info out there. But that's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Definitely.
I love people who produce content. They're my favorite people.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I like you too.
Chipreport.tv. Oh boy. You're doing a lot of stuff now. How do you find time to do it all?
I don't sleep.
Don't sleep, yeah.
Don't eat. Don't.
Yep.
I don't know. There's not really a secret to it. Keep a consistently low quality on everything I do.
Right. Minimum effort.
Yeah.
All that sort of stuff.
That's the thing, and it's like, getting into, like a board design, right? Like I've been mid-board design for a bunch of stuff, but I haven't been able. We were talking about this before the show, like getting that last 10% of something,
that
right?
last 10%.
It's not easy. It's not like finishing stuff is I was remarking to Dave too. There was a Olympics commercial about, the finishing isn't the important part. It's all about how you got there, and it's like. Okay, yeah, I agree with that. Like I would not be here without, all of my years of training. But if I don't finish any projects, then who cares, right? I mean, like, if I don't win a gold medal, then who cares?
If I'd still be tweaking my first video, instead of having punched out 330 of them or something.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's just, you've got to finish stuff off. And
execute.
I'm as guilty as anyone. We've talked about this before,
Yeah.
I've been fart-assing around on half a dozen different projects. I haven't finished any of them.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to take today off, and I'm going to finish this bloody board.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm going to lay the bastard out and order the parts, and just, instead of fart-ass around, I'll just order the prototype from the PCB supplier and be done with it. If it's wrong, who cares? At least I've progressed, right?
Wires are a brilliant thing. Yeah. Speaking of PCBs, actually... So Erin, Robot Girl, she does a bunch of like little bird robots, the Robo Bird and everything.
Right.
She's got this really great time-lapse video of doing a board layout. Yeah, it's really great. It's got like she's got like chiptune
commentary.
music.
It's got annoying music in the background.
It's like chiptune music, but it's like when you look at it, this is probably I don't know if she had the time of how long it took. But
I don't think she mentions what speed it's at.
Yeah.
So you can't calculate how. And if it's edited or not. But it doesn't seem to be. Like, she's just opening all these windows. One thing I noticed is she never went full screen. It's like, when I'm designing a board, I want the maximum freaking viewing area possible for my board and my schematic. In fact, I've got two screens, I've got the schematic on one, I've got the PCB on the other.
Yeah, I'm spoiled like that too.
Dual screen. And she's working in these little windows.
Well, you don't know how big this is, though, too. She could be on like a 30-inch monitor,
Oh, true, but still, give me the whole 30 inches like I used to have at Altium. Everyone had 3 30-inch monitors.
Yeah.
I mean,
that is nice to have. But this is it's mesmerizing to watch. It's just it's just fast layout and everything, and it's.
But it's not just the layout. It's her jumping to a Digikey, or she's jumping over to a trace width calculator, and she's jumping to a website and calling up, other.
Yeah, and she does she does footprint creation and everything too. So it really is a lot of it, right? And it's crazy.
It's very hard to see any detail because it's very quick. Like it's it goes for 6 minutes or something, and it's like at least 6 hours or 12 hours or something condensed down into.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably
6 minutes.
About 12 hours. Yeah. But. Yeah, it's great. I really enjoy it. So if people want to see, and she does some cool stuff with the traces too. She ends up rounding everything out, which is not standard. I don't think. I mean, I usually do 45s. I don't know if that's standard or not.
I do 45s. Yeah, it's very old school to round.
Yeah. It kind of reminds you like old like traced
the old
out
tape, the old tape layouts.
Yeah. But I like that look. I think it's cool. I think it's a
cool look. I don't know. I'm over it really.
Come on, it's fun. I think it's like you look at the old tape ones though, and it's not like a program where you actually have different widths, right? It's like it's like you actually have like it'll just kind of transition into a pour, and you're just like, whoa, what happened there? True artwork. Someone went a little crazy with their Sharpie or whatever.
Oh, those were the days.
Yeah. Did you ever do tape out like that?
Yeah, I used to do tape layouts, yeah.
See, now that would be a good video, I think, of just seeing what that looks like.
Donuts and stuff, stick down to, and you would have all the footprints, you would have all the dip packages, and you would actually peel them off, and you'd put them down, and that's how you created your IC footprints, and then you'd snake around with the tape. You'd have this big roll, and then you'd run your finger along, and you'd roll it out, and you do the curve nicely, and while you're holding your tongue at the right angle, and
of course,
if you're a light box, and yeah.
Yeah, man, I think you should get your hands on one of those and do it.
Well, maybe. I think you can still buy the stuff, but
really, that would.
Yeah, I mean,
that's like
make a good old school video.
Steampunk,
I guess pointless, but pointless, right? Because
right.
It's just silly to do that anymore, right? So, CAD came in the 80s, right? So,
right.
This was a very 70s thing.
Yes,
so,
definitely.
Yep.
But you get all those cool pictures too of like Bob Weidlar standing over the table and like leaning up these huge tables, right? It's like it's a very physical thing then.
Yes,
talk about having to be close to your design, right?
Yeah. Well, some people, you would do it at twice the size. Often a lot of people would do. If it's a really dense professional layout, you might do it at twice the size, and then you photo reduce it.
Right.
I don't think I ever did twice. So I always hid the 1:1 scale stuff.
Oh, okay.
So, and I had good eyes.
Yeah,
could do that. Yep. And then I would actually do. Randy's calling again.
Is he? Yeah.
Yeah. I would actually do my reverse side actually backwards. So I would actually flip it in my head, and I'd do it backwards. I talked about this before.
I think you have. Yeah.
So then I wouldn't get any parallax error when I actually photo expose the stuff, because the tape would be physically pushed against the board instead of the tape being on the other side, etc., etc.
Right.
And then maybe you do a two-step process where you turn it into a negative first, and then you use the negative on the negative photoresist board. No. Anyway.
Those were the days, huh, man?
Those were the days. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Ah, boy. I was pretty good at that. I used to enjoy it. Very, very therapeutic thing.
Yeah. Any kind of hands-on kind of thing can have that zen motion to it. I mean, soldering is like that, right? It's, you can be very meticulous about it.
Just sit there and do, 1,000 joints can be very therapeutic. Absolutely. Yeah. Don't have to worry about anything else. Not a care in the world. Just soldering your joints. Brilliant.
Yeah. One last video that I saw this week was actually a cutter that someone made to go from copperclad to create little islands basically on copperclad.
I saw that, and they've actually machined out little circles on bare board.
Right. And so then you can solder to that, and that's used a lot in Manhattan construction technique, where you create these little islands basically, and you solder all your components to that, and then you can also still use the the non-cutout part as your ground plane for like dead bug if you want to try that, or any other just actually having a ground plane for signal integrity. So awesome. I enjoyed that a lot.
And we're out of time.
I think we are. Yeah. Chip of the week this week is go check out chipreport.tv.
Right.
But we will still do it on here, and it'll still be on here. So
cool.
All right. Well, if people want to give us reviews on iTunes, we always love that. iTunes or whatever other podcasting things there are, we would very much appreciate that. Or tell your friends about the Amp Hour. That's cool too. Twitter.
We don't have a guest for next week yet, do we?
No. We'll get on that.
Yeah, because we are still trying to, if you haven't noticed, we're trying to do the alternating week, where we have a guest on, then us. And, I don't know.
It was us this week. If people didn't figure it out, it's not like we're bringing on the guests now. It was just us. All right, man. Well, we'll see you next week. Hopefully we'll have a guest.
All right. Catch you later.